Hey there everyone, it's CandyEvie here. One of the most important parts of any Pokemon game would be the gyms. The entire objective of the main story is to beat all 8 gyms so that you can challenge the Elite Four, so they are pretty important. There are many factors that play an important role to determining whether or not a Pokemon gym leaves a lasting impression. Examples of these would be the location of the gym, its interior design, and the gym leader themselves. How much they actually impact the story, and what they're like as a character. But arguably the most memorable part of any Pokemon gym would be the battle. The gym leaders are a lot more challenging in comparison to the gym trainers, so you would think that it would be a battle to remember. Some are challenging and some are not so challenging. So today we're going to try and find out what the top 10 hardest Pokemon gym battles are. But with 6 different regions, each having a minimum of 8 gym leaders each, some even having 10 or more, Unova, there really is a lot to look at. So I figured that I'd get the help of another Poketuber and good friend MysticUmbreon.
What is going on, guys? My name is MysticUmbreon, and I'm here to help Queen Dingus here with this list of our top 10 most difficult gym battles we have ever had. Throughout both of our Pokemon experiences, these gym leaders have given us a run for our money and have really put our wits to the test as Pokemon trainers. The way how these gym leaders battle and some of the moves they carry really point out the true difficulties of the troubles we have had with these gym leaders. So now we present to you, Rebels, Reblettes, and members of the Sweet Squad, our top 10 hardest gym battles. So to start things off, we have Lieutenant Surge, specifically for Fire Red and Leaf Green. We all know how annoying it is when someone spams double team repeatedly for high evasion. It's all a game of luck once the opponent has high evasion. Attacks almost become impossible to land. Lieutenant Surge's Pikachu and Raichu both have this annoying attack and become an almost impossible target to hit. With both their speed stats being at pretty high numbers, some Pokemon cannot even outspeed them at this point of the game, so more than likely half of the time, Surge's Pikachu or Raichu will wind up going first. One good way to prepare for this though is to head over to Diglett's cave and capture a Diglett or a Dugtrio. At least then he can't use Thunder Wave, and the player has a good chance to outspeed Raichu with Dugtrio. So just spam Magnitude and hope Lord Arceus gives support.
Number 9. Grant. On the whole, Generation 6's gym leaders were extremely easy. Grant is the only one that I ever had any trouble with. Grant uses the region's 2 fossil Pokemon, Amora and Tyrunt. His Amora isn't really too difficult to take out, but it's the moveset that he runs on it that makes the entire battle difficult. His Amora will go right for the Thunder Wave, which will cripple whatever Pokemon you are using. Not only does it make you less likely to be able to attack, but it also reduces your speed, giving Amora the first move, most likely taking out whatever you had up front. I would have found this battle a lot easier were it not for this one factor. His Tyrunt is really annoying too. Being a rock dragon type, it has a lot of resistances. So, unless you picked up a fairy type, it can be very difficult. Tyrunt's attack stat is crazy high for a Pokemon that's yet to evolve at 89. Combine this with its ability Strong Jaw, which increases the power of biting moves by 50%. Like Bite. And you've really got a problem. It took me several tries to beat Grant during my first playthrough of X and Y, and that really isn't something that I can say about the other gym leaders of Kalos. Grant is definitely the toughest gym leader of his region.
This gym leader gives hot battles and hot heat. Flannery especially because of her typing being fire. Being an intense fire leader also means that she has some pretty powerful fire attacks. Powerful may be an understatement though. Let's call it catastrophic. All 4 of Flannery's Pokemon on her Emerald team have the moves Sunny Day and Overheat. Sunny Day powers up fire moves to a whole other level, especially with Overheat having 130 power and getting the boost from the sun. Despite Overheat's secondary effect of having the user's special attack drop by 2 stages, Overheat still has massive power, and it can put some pretty big dents in the player's team.
Number 7. Brawly. I don't know if this is just a me thing, but I've always found Brawly to be crazy difficult. Of course, I'm talking about the original 3rd generation games. They made it a lot easier in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, so that kind of negates my points. But anyway, one of the main reasons why Brawly is so difficult would be because it's just not a good stage in the game to be going up against fighting types. In Ruby and Sapphire, he has a Machop at level 17 and a Makuhita at level 18. In Emerald, he's even harder though. His Machop is a level lower than in the previous games, but his Makuhita is 1 level higher and he has a Meditite on his team as well. But to be fair, his Meditite doesn't really make an awful lot of difference anyway. It goes for Focus Punch pretty much every turn, so unless you aren't using attacking moves for some reason, it's really easy to take out. Apart from that though, his team is definitely one of the most difficult of Hoenn. Sure, you can get a couple of psychic types, but they probably won't even be of much use anyway. You've got Ralts, which gets confusion at level 4, but say for example against Brawly's Machop, it doesn't stand a chance. Even with the resistance, Ralts' defense stat is puny at 25, and Machop's attack stat is 80, which is really high for that stage in the game. So unless you overlevel your Ralts, you're gonna have a bad time. There's also Abra, which is even more useless because it only learns teleport by level up. The moveset that Broly runs on his Machop and Makuhita is brutal too. Machop's Karate Chop is a force to be reckoned with. It deals enough damage as is, but the fact that it has a high critical hit ratio means that it can take out a lot of Pokemon in a single hit. And the Makuhita sets up like you would not believe. It spams Bulk Up, which increases its defense and attack, which not only makes it difficult to do much damage on it, but it also makes its attacks more powerful too. Broly was easily one of the hardest gym leaders of Hoenn in my opinion, and is deserving of a spot on this list.
With the new style of double battling being introduced in Generation 3, it brought a new way of how the Pokemon games worked. This new method of battling made the player think way differently than just the typical one-on-one battles. Having to control 2 Pokemon at once brought new possible combos and showed how well some Pokemon can work together. Tate and Liza's gym is the first and only double battle gym up to this point, and their Pokemon have some really good chemistry between one another, with their movesets mainly being in Pokemon Emerald though. Surf is one of the best defensive moves to have in a double battle, and with 3 out of 4 of Tate and Liza's Pokemon being weak to water, it certainly does come in handy. However, they have a move that can reduce the damage of a Surf, and that attack is Sunny Day. Tate and Liza's Light Screen can be very effective as well, due to their main weaknesses of Dark, Grass, and Water. This buys them time to set up Calm Minds, making their special defense higher and their special attack power pretty high. The only real effective way that worked for me against these two was using a Ghost-type Pokemon, and the best one in my opinion for Generation 3 was Bayonet. Even with having a powerful physical Shadow Ball, they still gave me trouble. These two twins may be little kids, but I can guarantee they're pretty big monsters in battle.
Well, that's it for the first part. If you want to see what other gym leaders made the list, then be sure to check out part 2 over on MysticUmbreon's channel. With that said, I hope to see you over on part 2. Bye!